Anyone who wears their hair down whilst training, for me, is a total lunatic and shouldn't be trusted. For one, because when I'm training and if I have my hair down, firstly, it like gets in your mouth and then you can't breathe. And secondly, it's also like, if you've trained with your hair down and then you go home and try and like unknot your hair, it is the worst thing in the world. And like, hurts so much and you break loads of hair and lose loads of hair. So like the only way that I found to like keep my hair healthy, like because I wanted to like grow my hair out long, keep my hair healthy and long whilst training, is putting it in like a slick back bun. But instead of just like a normal bun, I'll like plait the actual main bit of the hair to make sure that it stays like locked in and doesn't get like extra knotted and stuff. And also it means that I don't ever have to touch my hair during training. Like it will just stay like slick back and in a plait. So it's the perfect way. And also this product that I use here has got like argan oil and stuff in it as well, so it like hydrates my hair as well as slicking it back. And a lot of the time, the good thing about this is that before I even get to the gym, my hair looks like it's like wet and sweaty, so I don't have to worry about it looking even more wet and sweaty by the time I get there, or like when I'm training. So V-Light hairbands, I got them at the stand we went to semi-finals in Lyon, and they're actually so good, like scrunchy type things. Doesn't rip my hair, doesn't damage my hair, and also stays in throughout the whole session. Done. Ironic serum, which I am almost out of. And also the last thing, I don't know why I'm obsessed with Wild deodorant, because it is so rubbish. So it says it doesn't leave wipe marks. It definitely does. And I love it because it smells really good, but it's also a pile of rubbish. This is the deodorant. If I put it upside down, it's gonna fall out. It leaves white marks all over my clothes. Like if I just put a little bit, it will leave like all white marks here. But it smells so good. So my toxic trait is that I use something that I hate every single day because it smells so good. Okay, so before the gym today, I actually had to do some work. So I sat down for about an hour, sort of just tippity tapping away on my computer, doing some work. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. My intention originally was to film this whole week ahead of Barcelona to like kind of like give you like my last week of training before I go into my big deload. And this is basically what happened. So on Monday, I filmed this for you. Monday, 2nd of January. So this is the last full week of training before we go into deload for Barcelona. So I thought I would do like a video every day this week of what my training looks like the last week leading up to it. We just did the most awful thing, which was like had to do max calorie on the bike for a minute. So I was getting like 26, 24, and the bike stopped working. And then straight into 3 minutes, like consistent slow pace running. So like get your breath back. But honestly, I felt absolutely wrecked. I'm like so tired, like just tired. Managed to finish it, which is good. Now we got into the strength stuff. But yeah, I just thought I would do like what the last week of training looks like before we go into a deload, and obviously show you guys what the deload is. But yeah, start off the session with running and bike. Obviously that's very different to weightlifting. Like I was thinking about this the other day because my squats and stuff haven't been that strong recently. But I think it's because we do like a big cardio piece before we do the actual strength stuff. So like running and bike is like big legs, and then we have to do squats afterwards. So I think that's why my legs are like a little bit more tired, a little bit more fatigued, and not as strong. But yeah, so I think like for me, where I'm on my CrossFit journey right now, the best thing to do is prioritize this cardio stuff to make sure that I'm getting like aerobically fitter and not prioritizing the strength as much, obviously, because I have like more of a strength base than I do a cardio base. Anyways, let's get into the squats. So as I said, I filmed all of that for you guys and was ready to film the whole week. And then I kind of got hit by my time of the month, aka period for anybody who cares. And too much information, but I don't care because it's my channel, so I can do whatever I want. So I got hit with my period this week, and honestly, after Monday, it was just pretty much downhill. My energy levels were on the floor. I was feeling really tired, irritable, annoyed. And my training reflected that. Like I didn't do the WODs to my full capacity. I was taking it a lot slower. And to be honest, like this Friday is the first day that I sort of almost felt like myself again and felt like I could push a little bit more. But honestly, it was like, it's hard because it feels like the least ideal way to have like my last hard week of training, but also so grateful that I didn't have this whilst doing a competition, because that would absolutely suck. So today's session was starting with some strength stuff, which was the deadlifts and bench. Worked up to 75 for a single, which I was pretty happy with on the bench, and then around 130 or 135 on deadlift, which I'm happy with because during my time of the month is always when my back feels the most sensitive and hurts the most. So I didn't want to push it and wanted to make sure that I engaged my core and felt strong in those positions, as opposed to like just like putting something really heavy on and just giving it a go. We then had a awful workout, which was 3 rounds for time of heavy wobbles, heavy kettlebell swings, and 30-meter handstand walk. This workout for me, like all of the workouts this week, to be honest, have all been to try and build my confidence in my abilities and like reinforce my confidence in workouts that I know should be in my wheelhouse. So even though these are heavy wobbles, because I'm tall and I don't mind a wobble, like the aim was to go for 20 unbroken heavy wobbles every time, which I did, and then almost immediately pick up the kettlebell every time and just sort of like reinforce in my mind my capabilities and my strengths going into the competition. Because obviously, whilst the training wasn't ideal this week, the best thing about it was that whilst I did have to take a step back, it also allowed me to sort of think, right, okay, what am I good at? Let's do that. Let's reinforce like the positive mindset, whilst also scaling back things that I'm not so good at and understanding where I'm at with those exercises, so that I don't go into the weekend thinking I can do 30 unbroken chest to bar when I can't do 30 unbroken chest to bars, and just sort of like understanding where my body is at right now, understanding where my fitness is at right now. And that was basically the whole aim of this week. And I ended up like surprising myself. I think I took a lot more time off than I usually do, because I just thought, right, this week was really hard. I don't know why it felt like my period was hitting me the most it's ever hit me. So it was actually really great for me to just sort of step back and think, right, this is important for me to listen to my body and just kind of see what's what and kind of go from there. Into the second workout of the day, this workout was targeting different kinds of energy systems and different kinds of tactics. Now, in competition, you never actually know what's going to come up, but we did a little bit of research as to what has come up in the past. And something that has come up is where they do like minutes on, minutes off, and like strategically trying to play with that to see how I fare with like small rest times and high heart rates. Now, in this particular workout, I did end up going too slow in the first round, which meant that I had to like push it a lot harder in the next rounds, because I only did 7 burpee box jumps in the first minute, then I did 9, and then I did 12 in the last minute. So you can see that gradually I went up every single round, which obviously is good, but at the same time, I feel like I could have pushed more in the first round to get more reps out of that. I think what's been really daunting about the prep is that you don't actually know what's coming up. Like in a weightlifting competition, you know, you're going to go, you're going to snatch 3 times, and you're going to clean and jerk 3 times. And whatever happens in those attempts is what happens in those attempts. In a CrossFit competition, like in this one that I'm doing, there's 2 events on Friday, 2 or 3 events on Saturday, and 2 or 3 events on Sunday. So there's pretty much like everything to play for. Like you never know what's going to come up. You don't know what's going to happen. Could be in your wheelhouse, could not be in your wheelhouse. And you kind of just have to embrace it the way that it is. And I think this week, like having been on my period, having had a hard time, that's kind of made me try to think like, right, if I don't feel good or if the workouts aren't good for me, then I just have to learn to embrace it, just the way this week I've had to learn to embrace this type of training. So like I said before, like it obviously wasn't the best way to wrap up like my training block going into the competition. But equally, I feel like whenever you're training and it doesn't go your way, it is really hard, and most of the time I will just throw a tantrum. But if you try to look back and reflect on what you've done, more often than not, there is something to learn from it, annoyingly. And there is always something that you can get out of it. And for me this week, it was learning that I'm at the stage where I am right now in training, thanks to the training that I have done over the past year doing CrossFit. 1 week isn't going to make a difference. And whatever comes up, as long as I try my best and I feel like I push myself to the limit every time and just go out there and do myself proud, then there isn't really much else that I can ask of myself. If I don't finish well or if I don't place well, it's not really in my control, you know. And well, it is in my control in that I obviously am trying, but it's not in my control if the workouts aren't good for me or whatever. So I'm just excited to go in next week, and that's it. We finished the session with an awful 27-minute EMOM, which is 1 minute you ski for as hard as you possibly can. Last week I managed to do 26 calories every minute, and I finished on like 27 calories. And then you do 3 minutes of just like easy bike to kind of like cool yourself off, and then go back into the ski. Really, really hard. That's really hard. Really, really hard. Ross went running. I didn't go running because I'm a wimp. Oh, I think that was hard. My hair looks like it was hard.